Today I want to tackle a topic that has been requested on my Instagram Q&A, and that will be some practical advice for performing, stage fright, stage presence, all that good stuff. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Violin Playing Explained. So what is the thing that actually makes us nervous? For me, it's the feeling of getting just one chance. It has to work out in that very instant, at that very moment, in this very location, at that time. And of course, if there's somebody important you want to impress in the audience, that feeling increases even more. So how do we deal with this? Here are my thoughts on this topic, as well as some practical advice that helps me and might help you too. Starting with the most obvious. Be prepared, for God's sake. I know this may sound super basic, but if you're not ready 110, 120%, you will actually feel much more nervous, because you will have a reason to be. There may be a million thoughts rushing through your head as you're playing on stage, so you want to be, at least in terms of technique, be able to switch to autopilot and just... You don't want to be second guessing your fingerings and your bowings and stuff like that. The second thing might be also pretty obvious, but try to perform as much as possible for anybody. Even if it's just friends and family. Exposing yourself to your fears is the best way of dealing with them. In my experience, when I play a concert 2 or 3 times in a row, just consecutive days or something, I feel like always the second or third day are usually the best, because I'm so comfortable at that point. I know deep inside that I can do this, I've got it. So really, force yourself to play for people as much as possible, even if it's just family and friends. It will help you a lot. And if you have no one to play for, that leads me to number 3, videotape yourself. This is a great exercise, because it puts pressure on you in the same way as a live performance would, in the sense that it has to work out in that very instant. And you get the illusion that you only get one shot. It exposes you to this uncomfortable feeling, therefore making you more comfortable in your discomfort. Also, you may find things that you're not aware of. Maybe you're making weird faces while you're playing, or your posture is strange, or whatever. Or maybe your bow is not quite at the sounding point where it could be. But I hope that's not something that you find out through videotaping yourself, because you should be looking there all the time, right? If you haven't caught my thoughts on sounding point and sound production, watch my video that should be linked somewhere up here. Number 4 piece of advice. Don't think of the whole piece that you're about to play as one giant thing. And I understand that's easier said than done, especially if you're the orchestra introduction of a colossal piece like, let's say, the Beethoven or the Brahms Violin Concerto. And you think of this mountain of obstacles coming your way. Rather than doing that, try to split it up into smaller pieces, smaller fragments, even just like scale by scale, phrase by phrase. You're working your way through, taking it one step at a time. It's like you're simply going down a to-do list, checking off one task after another.
In your face, to-do list!
That definitely helps me to calm down, and it becomes way less intimidating this way. Violin playing is a complicated process. There's a lot to think about. Don't let your fear distract you from what really matters. For instance, is your bow on the sounding point. And most importantly, as cheesy as it sounds, think about the music. Which brings me to number 5. Have fun. Tell yourself you're looking forward to this, even though you may be absolutely petrified. You have learned the piece, and now it's time to perform it. This should be a joyous moment, a reason to celebrate. How fortunate you are to be able to play music in front of a live audience. Yay! Be thankful for that. Number 6 will be, take your time. You think you have no time for that fast passage you've been practicing forever? Think again. My rule of thumb is if I'm not slightly bored playing on stage, tempo-wise, then I'm too fast. And then I watch the recording, and most of the time I still think I'm too fast. So pick a comfortable tempo, because you're probably still way faster than you would have imagined in your wildest dreams. Pick a tempo that slightly bores you. That doesn't mean that you should be bored on stage. You should still express the music the way you intend it to be expressed. And the last one, number 7, observe yourself and see what works for you. Everybody's different. That's the beauty of the world. Experiment with certain routines that help you. For me, for example, I like to take a nap and a cold shower before the concert. I always feel like I generally sound better in the morning, so I'm kind of trying to recreate that feeling, just this fresh, oh my god, where am I kind of feeling in the morning. So taking a nap before a concert is actually a great idea for me. But hey, it may not work for you. Maybe you're exactly the opposite. At the same time, it's important not to get superstitious about those things. Let's say just because you had a certain meal that one day and the concert went great afterwards, doesn't mean that those things are necessarily correlated.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
In the end, it really all comes down to just being prepared and the sounding point. I hope this was helpful in some way. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. And as always, if you're interested in violin lessons with me, there will be a Patreon link at the end of this video, as well as a website where you can contact me in the description below. Happy performing, and I'll see you in the next video.